the early post-war years of the Polka Dots. Now, in the remaining few moments of this side of the tape, I'd like to recall some facts about our years in radio, how we got there, and the real reason we were able to stay so long. It had to do with the, quote, lowly mouth organ as a musical instrument, at least in the eyes of Jimmy Petrillo, the legendary president of the Musicians Union, who for many years denied membership to harmonica players because the harmonica was considered a toy. Now, the agent who caught us on the NBC Kiddie Show, a fellow by the name of Bob Coe, sold the network on the idea of hiring us as a kind of insurance against the frequent disputes the networks were having with the union, which resulted in strikes during which no union musicians could appear on radio. Then later on, the infant TV industry, and finally the FM broadcasting as well. And in later years, the same problem occurring in the recording industry. Now, since we were not allowed in the union, we could appear on radio. After all, we read music, we could play theme and incidental music, we could accompany singers and vocal groups. In point of fact, on several occasions, when Mr. Petrillo did pull the musicians out of NBC, we were busily running from studio to studio, doing these musical chores during these strikes, which usually lasted only a day or two. We were doing as many 30 shows a day and getting paid scale for each and every show. If only those strikes could have lasted a few weeks, or better yet, a few months longer. We saw ourselves getting rich. I guess we were kind of the resident strike breakers. Now, here's an expert from a New York Times article of the day, from Jimmy Gould's News of Radio column. Quote, "The Continental FM network has completed new arrangements for its program from 8 to 9 p.m. tomorrow as a result of the ban of James C. Petrillo, president of the American Federation of Musicians, on the chain's use of live musicians. In place of the orchestral concert, which had been offered Friday nights, Continental will offer a program devoted to the Polka Dots Harmonica Quartet. Mr. Petrillo's union does not officially regard the harmonica as a musical instrument. The program will be heard locally over W2XMN. Additionally, in those years, all of NBC television was contained in a single studio, 3G, on the third floor of 30 Rockefeller Plaza. And since the union had not yet concluded contracts with NBC for the infant industry, no musicians could be seen on TV. Here again, NBC turned to the Polka Dots. We were the first live musicians to appear on television. I can't document this fact, but I guess it's a little-known historical fact which I'm sure will shake you up no end. During the years 1940 to 1942, the Polka Dots were heard as many as 6 times a week. In those days, NBC had the Blue Network and the Red Network, which eventually became the American Broadcasting Company. Originally, we had only 2 shows a week, and were heard only on the network stations out of town, but not on WJZ in New York. Later on, we were carried by the entire network. These were 15-minute musical programs, no sponsors. That's why they were called sustaining programs. Now, it really is unfortunate that most of the music of the early polka dot broadcasts has been lost. But if you will turn the tape to the other side, you will find selected commercial recordings made by the polka dots after the war. Just a final note before you turn over this tape. Please let the tape run itself out. Your automatic shutoff on your tape recorder will stop the tape. Then turn it over and put it back in the tape recorder once again.